As the introduction said, my name is Sticha. I am a disabled Navy veteran, and separately, I'm also an ambassador for Maryland Able. But I'm not here today to talk about my able duties. I'm here to tell you about my personal story as a veteran who's gone through not only 8 years of honorable service, but also has gone through the transition to civilian life and has experienced some difficulties in getting the right health care. I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes while still serving in the U.S. Navy aboard the USS Nimitz. This was in 2009, 2010. This disease hit me out of nowhere. This is something that occurred to me not as a result of combat, but simply as a result of life circumstances. Thankfully, I got diagnosed while I was in the active duty Navy, and I thus am entitled to VA health care, a privilege that is not extended to all individuals in the service community. Even though I received health care from the VA, and even though that health care is supposed to be at no cost to myself for the treatment of my disease, there have been many times, at least a dozen, since I got diagnosed in 2009, where I've had to pay out of my pocket for essential supplies. I'll give you a common example that I've experienced. I need testers in order to check my blood sugar, to be able to know where it's at and give myself insulin if necessary, or to otherwise correct my blood sugar levels. A box of testers that I needed from the VA costed upwards of $125 for 100 doses. I called the VA pharmacy, I put in a refill well in advance, and typically the automated system will tell you that you will receive in about 7 to 10 business days. There have been many times I have to wait 3 weeks for these supplies, if not longer. And so I'm forced to pay out of pocket at a local pharmacy, it's only $25, so that I can have the bare minimum supplies I need to maintain my quality of life. There are a lot of questions about what ABLE can do for veterans, and as an ABLE account holder, I can tell you that by spending money on test strips, that is a qualified disability expense. Yes, I have to pay out of my own pocket for that, out of the money I put into ABLE, but I am able to enjoy the tax advantage benefits that ABLE offers everyone. And there is a little peace of mind there in knowing that I can use this on the back end to be reimbursed by tax benefits and stuff like that. But again, to simply receive the supplies I need, and this is not to bash the Veterans Administration in any way, that is not my goal here. The reality of the situation is simply that an organization that is underfunded and understaffed will result in some people falling through the cracks. And my experience is not unique. It is common to many veterans who are transitioned out of service due to disabilities. I also want to give you another example that's not related to me, but is another example that is common to veterans. A veteran that uses a service animal, let's say as a result of an IED attack and they are now blind or suffered a traumatic brain injury. The VA will provide you with the service animal. They will pay for the service animal's training and anything in that regard. But they will not pay for things like food. Service animal being a living creature, we all understand it needs food to eat. So normally that is not compensated by the VA, but with an ABLE account, that counts as a qualified disability expense. That is a very simple example I can give you where ABLE can truly help a disabled veteran in providing the services that they need. Again, they're spending their money for it, they're enjoying tax advantage benefits. And there's another benefit which I'd like to talk to you about as well, very briefly. I mentioned I have type 1 diabetes, but I'm also, as of very recently, one of the many veterans that was diagnosed with severe depression. I have been fighting a battle, and I can tell you that my experience over the last 2 months since this has occurred to me, it is the small moments, the small wins in life that matter the most. And I can tell you that that veteran that has an ABLE account that is able to spend that money on dog food for his service animal, the nature of that transaction changes in a very small but very powerful way. Because they are no longer a consumer buying food for their pet. They are a veteran who is spending money on their health care, on their quality of life. And that small moment is so powerful and so impactful, and we have the ability with the ABLE Age Adjustment Act to make that moment available to a million other estimated veterans. And not just to those who served in uniform, because that should not be granted as a result of my oath and my ability to serve in uniform, because many of us cannot. This legislation is necessary. I am telling you this as a disabled veteran. If you have compassion in your heart, as many of us in the disabled community do, we have thoughts, we have ideas, we have love to give this world, but we are scraping by because the healthcare system fails us many times. You don't need a study to tell you that it costs more to live with a disability than without. That is simple common sense. And what the Able Age Adjustment Act can do is open up access to millions of other Americans. I know Senator Casey, Senator Duckworth, and all the people in this room know the impact of that. But I want to impress upon you to do the work necessary to show other people the impact of that. Because that is the most important function, I believe, of this body of people right here. We are responsible for helping those who need help the most. Not just disabled veterans, but everyone who counts themselves as part of the disabled community. Thank you very much.